and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is very exciting and it's actually something that I have never done before, but I'm wanting to start because obviously this year I've been on about reading a lot more and books. So today I'm very excited because it's going to be a review on two books actually, because they are like a series, and please, if you're here, you know why and you know what they are already because you clicked on it from the title. But they are Lightlark and Nightbane by Alex Aster. Okay. So I said in my haul, if you've not seen it, I'll link it, but I said in my haul when I bought this that I'd read this and I devoured this because it was just so good. Like, the reason why I bought it was because it sounded so good, and then it was, and so obviously then I needed this, and so when I went book shopping I had to buy it, and so I did. And then as soon as I finished Akatar, and then I was like literally torn because I was like, well, I've read the first one of both now and I just don't know what to read, but there was just something about I just needed to read this. I just needed to. So I did. And so as I'm filming this, I have literally just finished this. I want to say last night, but it was about 20 to 1 this morning. So, sort of. But I have slept since then, so I still call it last night. But yeah, so that's why I wanted to do this even more, because I already had an idea of me doing a video of me talking about these, and so because I finished it literally like this morning, like early doors, I was then like, yeah, I've got to do it, I just have to, because we gotta talk about it, okay? So what I thought I'd do is I'm going to talk about it at the first part of the video, spoiler free. So if you haven't read these books, or if you've read Lightlark but you've not yet read Nightbane, don't panic, I won't spoil it. This section is going to be the spoiler free section, so I will sort of talk about it and maybe like give a sort of review as much as I can without spoiling, and then if you then have like read it, you can like carry on and you can then watch the ones with heavy spoilers, because I'm going to talk about everything because I have to, okay? Like, I just do. And if you know, you know. So yeah, so I'm very excited about that. I just need to because I'm still thinking about it. Like, I was in the shower before and I just felt like I was staring at the wall, like still thinking about it. So we're gonna get into it. Okay, so of course we'll talk about Lightlark first. This was the first book, and I'm not kidding, but I honestly thought it was a 2-book series, and after reading that I'm like, where's I need the third one. So that's probably a little bit of a like, but I did, and I was like, wow. But yeah, going into this book, I'm not gonna lie, I saw an interview that she did on TikTok. I think it was the Kelly Clarkson show that she was on. I know, terrible. But I'd seen it so many times, and then obviously that kept popping up, and I was just like, screw it, I need to buy this book and read it because it sounds great. So if you don't know what it's about, Lightlark is about a island that appears like every 100 years called Lightlark, and there is 6 rulers that have to fight to break their deadly curses. Honestly, that sold it to me instantly. Like, I was like, yep, I need it now. Like, I actually didn't need to know anything else about this book and I was hooked, so I needed it. And obviously then you read it and there's so many twists, there's turns, and of course there's romance. It's a YA though, so there's no spice, so take that as you will. But I just, there was scenes in it that I was like, okay, like I still felt a bit flustered. But another thing that they have that I didn't expect was a very strong love triangle. Oh my gosh, the love triangle, okay? I'm gonna say that as like, it's spoiler free, but there's a love triangle on. Okay. Yeah, that is all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to spoil it for you. I really don't, because it's such a good book, and if I say anything else, I feel like it'll ruin it, but love it. And I love the main character. and it's very fast paced. I love the fact, and there's very short chapters. Like the chapters are short, so you just keep going instead of like being like, oh my god, is it over yet? Because I do hate when the chapters are long because I then get bored. It's like, oh, I feel like I've made no progress. But with this, I was literally flying through it. But the only thing that I will laugh about these two books is that I bought this because of the whole, oh, it's like you've got to fight to break the deadly curses thing. It's kind of like Hunger Games vibes, sort of, but not really. Because one has to die and then one will get like powers at the end and they'll break the curses and things like that. Honestly, I loved it. And so, of course, I had to read the second one, and obviously that was already out, so I bought that. But yeah, that one I read last year pretty much, because obviously it's like January now. So it was in like, I think it was like November. I started reading it and flew through it in a couple of weeks because it was that good. So yeah, that's the first book. And then this. Woo! I can already tell you right now, spoiler free, but I can already tell you this is my favourite one. So it's actually crazy how this book was like, because honestly I had no idea what this was about. So it follows on straight away from when Lightlark ended. So it ends, Lightlark ends, and then you're like, okay, but then you still want more, so then you read this and it continues straight away, and so you're like, right, all right, love that. But then honestly, this book now has me in a chokehold. I know I've literally just finished it, so that's probably why. But I'm just like, I'm still like, but yeah, obviously when you know, like, if you don't know. But it's hard because I want to like help you like want to read it more, but I don't want to spoil it because I honestly don't know what to say about this book without giving any spoilers away. I actually don't. Basically, it continues from how it ends, and obviously I don't want to say what that is because that'll spoil Lightlark. So, yeah. But honestly, the only thing that I could say is that I loved the fact of how she wrote it, because it had like two different point of views almost. So it had like a present time and a past. And I honestly didn't expect that either, but loved it. No, honestly, going into this one, I was literally just reading it because it was the next book and I needed to know more. And so I just had to read it, and I didn't even know why it was called Nightbane for a while, and then like that moment that you read it and then the name appears of the book and you're like, oh, there it is, the name of the book. So honestly, I just can't. And I said about the love triangle, but oh my god, the love triangle in this got even stronger. Like, the way it conflicted me, I can't even tell you. I still don't know how I feel, because you think, oh yeah, no, I'm like, no, it's that one now, but then you're like, no, actually, I kind of like you now, but then it's like, I don't actually know who I'm supposed to like ship them with. I really don't. So honestly, loved it. Obviously, if you don't, I didn't even say it. It's YA, dark fantasy romance. It's so good. Please read it. I feel like people are going to be like, oh, I've read it and it was shit. But I'm, like I always say, I'm easily pleased. And honestly, I can't, to be honest, I feel like now, after I've read this and I know how things happened, I want to go back and I want to read this again to see if I can pick up moments. Because there was a twist, right, in this Lightlark that I did see coming. Okay, I saw it coming, but when it then came, I was like, oh, yeah, I knew it. Like, honestly, I was conflicted with that, because I would keep thinking it, and then it would change, and then I would think, oh, shit, maybe not. Then it would happen again, and I'd be like, oh, no, I'm right, it's going to happen, like that. When it did, I was like, yeah, I knew it. But then the twist had a twist, and I was like, wait, what? I was literally like, come again, because I called it, but then it just was like, but yeah, but psych, like, there's more to come. And I was like, what? So yeah, I was very much like, sorry, like there was a lot. Like the last few chapters, you're sort of reading it fast paced and your heart's like because you're like, you're like, slow down. What? I felt like I had to keep going back to read it again to like be like, did I read that right? Because honestly, but see, I knew this one had something about it because I'd seen people react to it. But I thought it was like a twist in the sort of near the end. No, it ended up being literally the end of the book. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, the way, the scream that I screamed silently because it was like midnight was not even, it was real. Because I was like, what? I was literally like, what the fuck? What the heck? Like, what? Like, I still can't really get my head around it. And I'm not gonna lie though, I almost liked it. I kind of did. So, honestly, the way that I'm now basically just rambling about how good these are and how much I loved them, and basically in this segment being like, please read them. Okay, please do it. Like, if you have read this and you're gonna read this, do it. If this is still your TBR after reading this, read it now because you need to. It's just so good. I don't know, I'm so glad that I decided to do it straight away because I was like, I just have to, like, I just need to know. But obviously now I haven't heard if there is a third book because obviously the way it ended, I was like, ugh. So now I need to know. Now I need to find out if she's gonna write another one. But yeah, like I think I needed sedation. To be honest, I could not sleep for a while after that because I was still a bit like, it was spiraling. My head was going through it. I was trying to process everything that I just read. I was just like, wow. All right, so now I'm going to talk more in depth, meaning there's gonna be heavy spoilers because I just have to. So of course, if you haven't read them, please click off the video now, and I hope you go and buy them or read them if you have them in your possession. But yeah, I will see you. Please come back to this video though and comment when you do read them to tell me what you think. But yes, I'm now going to talk in depth. I'll talk about this one first. So if you've not read Lightlark, or you've not read Nightbane but you have read Lightlark, then I suppose you can stay for this one. But yeah. Oh my god. Okay, I'm still like hung up on Nightbane, but we'll talk about Lightlark first, okay? And like I say in my spoiler-free segment, this I called, okay? So the only thing I didn't see coming was the fact that Isla, okay, yeah, so Isla, she's everything, love her. The introduction was just amazing. Like, I loved the actual world. Like, I could visualize it really well. I liked the idea of the realm things. So you had Wildling, you had Skyling, Sunling, you know that. Yeah. At the start, I just was like, yep, here we go. Like, they're all going into, is it the Centennial? I think it's the Centennial. I forgot how you say it. They went to the Centennial, and it was like, right, here we go. Like, it's going. But honestly, the truth, the secrets, the betrayal, the things that come out, I'm just like, oh my god. So I called the twist at the end, which was the fact that Celeste was the traitor the whole time. Okay, so I knew it. Like, I was like, sorry, but they were like too pally for my liking, and I was like, I don't know how to feel. I was like, it's quite unsettling that she's like, I feel like she knows too much, and obviously she trusted her, but I just had this feeling. I was just like, oh my god, I just don't know. Like, I have a feeling that she is gonna betray her. You know, she's gonna turn around and because the whole time is that, I mean, that was a twist at the beginning. So the first thing was that the fact that she knew Celeste before it, and then they surprised us with, like, Sight were actually besties. I was like, wait, what? And then the big thing on the cake was the fact that she had no powers. And I was like, wait, what? You know, like, because she's the wilding, and the wildling curses are that they have to, like, eat human hearts, or eat, you know, and if someone falls in love with them, they have to kill them. And I was like, holy shit, that's awful. So I kind of sensed like, oh, of course, well, it's going to be love that I'll have. And so you'll end up falling in love with me, but I have to kill you. But then turns around being like, psych, actually, I don't have it. So like, I have no powers and the curses don't apply to me. So I was very much like, wait, what? Like, yeah, I did not expect that. So I did not expect that, and I didn't expect her and Celeste to already know each other. And then obviously, the more I read, the more I was then like, like I could tell that she was then going to be the one. But like I say, the way I was then conflicted because it would change, because obviously she then like was paired up with Oro. But yeah, then she was paired up with Oro, and obviously then they did this like quest for the heart of Lightlark, and I was like, okay, the heart, and I was like, right, because like she had so many like alliances, because obviously Grimm, he was, just need to like for a minute about Grimm, because like Grimm, I sensed it, but yet again, oh, that shook me. But yeah, he was sort of there. I was gonna say he was like in the shadows, but like horror. But he was, and of course we had the, you know, like the way they did it to us with the square, like the not square. That's miraculous. The triangle of her, Oro, and Grimm. Woo! Like that happened at the end, but like, yeah. So the fact that when Oro betrayed, because he then announced the fact she was powerless to everybody at the Centennial, and then she was like, sorry. And so then I was like, oh shit, now. Then I was like, great, now you're the like traitor. But like, honestly, I was so conflicted reading it, but I loved it, because I feel like that's the idea of a good read, is that you don't want to predict it straight away, and then it happens, and you're like, well, I saw it coming pages away. So I did, but obviously then I was like, oh, maybe not. And then I was like, no, actually, yeah, it is. And then it was right, but then it was like, because, oh. So the whole time they were looking for the bond breaker. Yeah. They were looking for a bond breaker to obviously try and do the curses without killing, because the Centennial was that they had to break the curses by killing one of the 6 of them, and so her and Celeste tried to do that, and of course they then found it, or Celeste found it, and so they then ended up being like doing the ritual or whatever, and then it ended up it wasn't even a bond breaker, it was a bond maker. And then Celeste wasn't even Celeste, she was Aurora, some like ancient Starling ruler, and I was like, the actual fuck, like that was like, what? Like, because I sensed it, I was like, oh, of course, like I knew it. When she turned around and she was like then evil, I was like, fucking knew it. But then she was like, just kidding, and like did this, and then she became Aurora, and I was like, wait, what? So yeah, it was obvious that then she was going to die, because then she was going to be the one that was killed. But then the other thing was that the whole time, obviously, there was sexual tension with her and Grimm. The entire book, like, there was, because he like gave her a necklace, and they had this like alliance going on, but he wasn't like, you know, he was a bit mysterious, dark and mysterious, but then, you know, sexy as well. But then he was like there, and he wasn't, like, he was just like in and out. And then of course they finally did something, and I was like, yeah, saw that coming. But then yet again shocked me at the fact that they were already a thing, and he wiped her memory, and I was like, what? So that was also really good, because obviously that's how it ended with that as well. So like, I was just thinking, well, obviously, like, there was sexual tension the whole time, so I was expecting something to happen between them, but I did not expect that it was because they were already like seeing each other, and he took her memory from her. And so I was like, what? And the whole reason was because he was aligned, you know, in alliance with Aurora, the traitor. And I was just like, what is actually happening? So the whole time, so then it turned round, and this ended with the fact that Oro was actually the like genuine one the whole time. And I was like, wow. I mean, I was gonna say wow, king, and he is a king, but like at one point, I felt like I couldn't trust him either, and I was like, bloody hell. Oh, God, yeah. And then you had, like, the other ones. There was Azul, who was sort of like, we thought he was doing it at one point, and I was like, shit, what? And then, of course, Cleo was always so irritating. Like, I always hated Cleo, I'm not gonna lie. She was just always the one that was just, like, a bit annoying. Because she was just evil the whole time. I mean, she wasn't. Like, she didn't turn around and do anything in any of them, but, she was always just like, she didn't like Isla, and it was just like, So, yeah, I just can't. This book was great, and obviously, there was, like, so much more to it than I thought when like, going into it, which is what you want, really, because that's why you read a book, but, like, I just can't, and of course, then, because of the whole betrayal that Grimm had then done, with the whole, like, memory thing, because apparently she like knew all these things beforehand and he took them from her and she didn't remember, because she was like having dreams of them and him and her like doing some interestingness. You know, like she was having dreams of them, you know, having moments, and he turned around and he was like, yeah, they're not dreams, they're memories that I've been like feeding you because, you know, they were a thing. And I was just like, what the hell? I couldn't cope with it. So yeah, and then also, I think it's this one, if I'm not mistaken, but that they reveal that she isn't just Wildling, but she's also Nightshade as well because of her parents. But that might be wrong, so I'm really sorry if that wasn't a thing in this, and that's something in that one. But I'm sure they already found that out in this book at the end. So, yeah. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that one, because, yeah. I can't. Like, it was so good, and I remember trying to get to the end. But that ending was a lot more satisfying, because obviously everything sort of happened, and it was like betrayal and shit, but then we kept going, and the ending was her trying to get into that fucking vault. That vault seriously wound me up so much, because I was waiting, and then it said she was going in, and then, oh my god, the fact that they cliffhangered me, and she like managed to get in it eventually, and then I was like, excuse me. So, god, yeah, that would made me want to read Nightbane even more, like it actually did. But I just can't, like, I really can't, because of course the whole time, I don't know if I would say I shipped her with Grimm. I really don't, because Oro obviously could turn around and betrayed, because then he said like, oh yeah, she's powerless, and she was like, sorry. But then of course they were fine, and they still did the heart thing, look for the heart. But then of course at the end, she was then hella pissed at Grimm's betrayal, that she then hated him, and so then she liked Oro, because I think they revealed that too during the battle, that Oro loved her as well, and she was like, wait, what? Like, she just thought it was like this thing with Grimm, but turned out Oro did as well, and I was like, I love Triangle, I can't get over it. So honestly still conflicted, because now I don't know who I like her with the most, because every time I would read a scene I'd be like, oh my god, stop, because I like it, but then I like them as well. So it was just like, help. So, yeah. Okay. This one has my heart, but that's just because I've only just read it. But yeah, now I'm going to talk heavy about this. So if you've not read this, please click off. Don't be spoiled, because you need to read it to have the same feeling that I did. But please come back and then like agree with me or not agree with me when you have read it, because yeah. So that's your warning, and let's get to it. Okay, I can't. This book, whoa. Like, whoa. Like I said, I did not have a clue. I just knew that it carried on. And obviously, that meant that the first chapter was her opening the vaults from the cliffhanger in the first one. And then she didn't even do it. Like, the fact that then it rejected her and she was, like, flung. And then that was it. And I was like, what? So, like, I thought we would finally find out what was in there. No. They said no. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. But, yeah. Honestly, this book was so well done, because, like I said, I really liked the sort of POVs, but not really, because the way it started was that you're in the present and you're like realising what she's doing, because obviously during the battle with Celeste / Aurora in that one, she used the bomb maker herself then to take her power. So then she was Starling as well, or she was the Starling ruler. So then she was like, she was part Wildling, she was part Nightshade, but then she was also the ruler of Starling as well now, because she'd killed their ruler. so they luckily didn't die as well, because of course if your ruler dies, all your realm dies, which I was like, bloody hell. So yeah, that's where it starts. She has to like then try and rule her people, but obviously the other thing was that because she was powerless, but she was a ruler, she was like locked away. And so that was funny because her like guardians, they betrayed as well, didn't they? Bloody hell. I was like, why? I felt so sorry for her, to be honest, because I was like, who can she trust? Because everyone keeps turning around and betraying. So that's why I was like, there was so many moments in this where I was terrified that Oro was going to turn around and do it to her, because like the way they were in this book, I was just like, please don't do that to me, because I will cry for her, because I love them. I really do. So obviously we still had the love triangle, but this had her with Oro more, because obviously she hated Grimm at the time. And so all the scenes of her with Grimm was memories, and that was so well done. Like, it really was, because it was like a present chapter, and then you would have one that she called before, which was memories. Now, when they first started, I was just reading them, expecting them to be like written for the viewer or the reader, and so we're just learning about that. But then it turned out that they were her living that as well. It was her remembering that. So as we read it and like saw it happening, so was she. So like that was so good, because obviously then we would turn the next chapter and it would be back to the present of her like waking up from the dream, or not the dream, the memory that she just, and because apparently it turned out the memories were everything she needed to know because of him doing this war. Honestly, I feel like I'm all over the place because there was just so much about this book. But yeah, honestly, the twist at the end, because I honestly could not see where this was going at all, because all I knew about it was that he'd betrayed and then gone back to Nightshade, and obviously she was then trying to rule and obviously trying to learn her power because she was powerless. So she then got the power from like breaking the curses in that book, but then she didn't know how to do it, so they were teaching her how to wield basically at the beginning, and so that was fine. But then these memories were like happening, and at first she was trying to get rid of them, but then obviously then she learned that like something was coming and he was going to come back and like destroy Lightlark, so she was like, great. And it meant that she had to actually use the memories because they were the key to know how to stop it. Honestly, I can't. Like, this was so well written. It really was. Like, I loved it a lot. It's just, I can't. Like, I still can't get over the ending at all. I just can't get over it. Because, like I say, the more I read, I just had not a Scooby-Doo at where it was going. Like, at all. Like, I just loved the fact that we were learning it, and I was like, I don't even know why he's committing war, because obviously he loved her, he was like really soft for her, and so I was like, why is he even doing this? But then obviously like it's literally like the last chapters at the end, it's probably like the fourth or the fifth, like 5 chapters at the end, that it reveals everything at you in one go, and you're just like, sorry, what? It's just, oh yeah. So because obviously, as well that killed me, was that their law of Grimm and Isla was that it was enemies to lovers, because they hated each other at the beginning, like when they first like met, and you know, because she had this star stick thing, she was like portaling everywhere, and he was just there. It's just the fact that the memories end up revealing that she like knew him for months before the centennial, but obviously reading it, like the first book, I didn't even like sense that. Like, I didn't even have an actual clue that they already knew each other. Like, I genuinely thought she'd met him for the first time, but then it all straight away had this like connection and had this like sexual tension going. But like, honestly, those scenes were like reading them, I was like, damn. But of course, we had that as well with Oro, and I was like, what is going on? Like, past island, present. I was like, I'm conflicted reading it, so I don't know who to ship you with, girl. Like, genuinely, I can't decide who I like her better with. And literally, the ending line, the thing she said at the very end, what the flying fuck? Okay, we need to talk about the end, because that's obviously what I'm still like, what about, because I just finished it. But like, so much happened, but like, they're finally in the battle that they've been training for this entire time, and then it's the fact that he was about to kill Grim. Oro was about to kill Grim. And obviously then, because she's like, yet again, flicking between remembering things and then going back to that. And he just sort of screams out, like, you can't, she will die as well. And I was just like, wait, what? And so it then went back to the fact that that was the first thing. I was like, the first thing was that she was able, with the love bond, there was a love bond that they had. With that, she was able to, like, track it, like channel his magic or something, his energy, whatever, and then she wielded power to save him. I was like, hold on, I didn't think you had power, girl, but clearly she did. But I think it's because, yeah, she used his power. But that was like the first thing. The next thing that was the fact that she died. I was like, wait, what? Like the fact that then it showed it where she had died. So she tried to save him, and then she did, but then obviously the power like killed her and she died. And I was like I couldn't get over that. And of course it was like showing it happen in the past for us, as they were remembering it as they were like in the battle. And I was just like, woo! Like, my brain was literally fucking here, there, and everywhere. And then the other thing was that, obviously, that meant that he had bonded himself to her. Like, he brought her back from the dead, but, like, now she's bonded to him, Grim. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was like, whoa. And then, honestly, I wish I'd film myself do it, to be honest, because the bit... But, like, where is it? But, like, the moment he said that was, like, what? But, yeah, she realised that the whole time, okay, she had a vision of Grim coming to destroy Lightlark. There was going to be darkness everywhere. And then it developed more and revealed that it was going to kill her. And so that's why this battle happened, because she needed to stop him. She wouldn't allow it, rah, rah, rah. But then, in the midst of all the memory, she realised that it wasn't him that did it. It was her. And I was like, Chanel, that was also a memory. And I literally, minutes before reading the line, myself, I said it. I was like, because it was like, she was like thinking about it, and then it was like, I just sort of was like, oh my god, that's a memory too. And then, like, lines down, it just said it was a memory. And I was like, what? I was like, bloody knew it. And then that's when she was like, oh my god, like, she was like, I'm a monster, get away from me. Like, Oro was still all over her, and he was like, no, baby, it's fine, because the things they called her, because he called her Love, but Grim called her Heart Eater / Heart, and I was like, I can't. So he was like, it's fine, Love, like, you're okay. And she was like, no, I'm a monster, because she ended up, like, killing all these children, her people, like, all the, and she thought it was coming in the future, but it had already happened, and it was a memory. And I was just like, oh my god. So then that was it then. She was like, no. And he was like trying to get hold of her, but she was like, let me go. And what Grim said, I gasped. Honestly, I sort of was like, what? I feel like I just sort of was leaning back from it, like, through my book. I was like, what? But, where is it? Here. It says, let me go. And then Grim says, let go of my wife. I was like, sorry. I was like, wife? I was like, what the hell? How much have we done with each other? And then, yeah. The next, that was when the chapter ended, and the next chapter was that was the missing piece, and everything came together, and she remembered the wedding, the night of the wedding. And I was like, sorry, but I got married to you. And I was just like, I did not expect that at all, in the slightest. I didn't expect him to turn around and shout the fact that you're my wife. Like, what? Honestly, I couldn't cope with it. I was just like, it was one after the other. And then that was it then, because she was then like, I can't, I'm a monster, like, get away from me. And she was a bit like, you don't deserve me, Oro, because obviously she did love Oro and Oro loved her, but she was like, no, you don't deserve me. So that was when she was a bit like, get away from me, but he was still all over her. And the last bit, oh my Jesus Christ, I love it, but I'm like, ugh, but like, it's the fact that she gets up, she walks over to Grim, because he's like, come with me and I'll stop it all now. Like, everything that I'm doing here, like, I'll stop it and come with me. And he's like, no, don't go. And she's just like, I need to. But it's like, she grabs his hand. Oh no, she walks over and then she turns to Oro and she's like, I love you, Oro. And takes his hand and then she's like, but I love him too. And then it fucking ended and I was like, woo! Honestly, that I could hear that. As I read it, I could see it vividly and I could hear it. Where is it? Because I keep going back to it. Like, that's how big the chapter was, like the last chapter. And then it ended. And I was like, like, sorry. Because then it was just like, turn the page and that was it. But I literally can't. He was like, don't! Like, Oro was like breaking his words, like, don't do it! And then she was like, I love you, Oro. Felt him, sweet. She took, but I love him too. Oh my god! Those words are literally I'm just gonna like hear them now in my sleep. Like, I actually am. Because I can literally see it. It's like, can you imagine if it was like, made into a movie? That bit would be so good, like, it would. But of course, it's a cliffhanger, because it was literally mid-battle, okay? Like, that was it. It's like, I was expecting them to do it, and then it's to have more at the end, and sort of finish off. No. It ended like that. And I was like, so what does this mean? Like, she's now going with him, because she believes she's a monster, and that they shouldn't... She thinks, well, I've destroyed that because of my nightshade abilities. I don't even know. Like, if she's gonna do it, I don't even know where it would go, because I have this feeling that, like, obviously she's gonna be with Grim now, but I'm like, are you gonna be with him though? Because like, now I've remembered that you shouted that I'm your wife, and I'm like, am I? But that's it then. I'm like, I feel bad. I feel sorry for Oro. I really do. I don't actually know who I like more. Like, Grim was just that one. He was like dark, mysterious, sexy, like the guy that's like just in the shadows sort of thing. No pun intended. But then Oro was like Sun, you know, he was the like happy one, the nice, the cutesy one. And I was just like, don't do it. Because it was like choosing night or day. Like, it really was. Like, that is pretty much what it is. And I still don't know who I like, because I feel like she definitely had more like love and tender like feelings towards Oro and more relationship feel. But then, I mean, I say that, and then Grim, I was married to you, but like, no, like him and her, they were very much just sort of like this thing, like they just had this like connection with each other, and of course that meant to like, that led to them like doing that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, oh, like it was just basically sexual tension that then eventually led to things and scenes where you were reading it and you were like, which you sensed, but I don't know, I just don't. But like, he was so soft with her though. Grim was so soft with her. Like, the way he was as a character, but then when it came to her, I'm sorry, but what line killed me? There was a line, I think he said, was it? I think he said, I would kill myself. I would rather kill myself than see you smile at anyone else. Or like, something like that. It was like, I would rather kill myself than see you smile at anyone else but me. Okay, I need someone I need a man to tell me that. Like, I actually do. I can't remember when that was, though. I don't know. I was trying to find it, but I was struggling. But, yeah, it was something along those lines where he said to her, like, while they were in bed together, something like, I would rather die than see you smile at anyone that wasn't me. And, that, literally, I was dead. Like, if I was said that, if I was told that, I would be like, oh my gosh. I'm like, really? Because, like, holy shit. All I'm doing is smiling. Like, bloody hell. Or, like, maybe it wasn't smiling. Maybe it was, like, looking. But just help. Just help me so much. I mean, there was totally things that Oro said, but I feel like I can't remember it now, which is kind of sad. Like, there was probably totally a line that he said. Something like, you make me feel whole or something. Like, you make me feel more alive, or I've never felt happy, like, happiest when I'm like around you, or something like cutesy that killed me. Like, they both said something like that, and I was just like, stop. Like, I don't know. I am conflicted. So yes, that's my review, my verdict, my basically rundown of these two books, because I loved them so much. I will literally scream if I see anything about a third book, because it is needed. Okay, honestly, it is needed. And please do read them, because you will not regret it. I honestly, because I love the fact that I now have this in my head. Although I still feel like I'm a bit like, what the heck still, but please, yeah, you will be fine. But yeah, if you have them on your TBR and physically, and you have them and you read them like now, like, go and get it and read it. But if you haven't got them, go buy them, and you honestly, you won't regret it. I'm telling you. So yes, that is all I have to say about these books. Let me know what you think, and also let me know what you're excited for me to review once I get around to reviewing it, because I definitely will. And so yes, I'll see you in my very next video. Bye!